Alright, before this video started, I wanted to do a quick address on this one. It's obviously to both sides of the field. The pro-firearm freedom side, which I know already agrees with me, and the anti-firearm freedom side, which I know hates me with a passion. Until they get to actually know me a little bit better, and I get to take them out shooting, and then they kind of understand where I'm coming from. But more importantly, this is a response to Lonnie and Sandy Phillips, and I hope you all actually do get to see this video. And moreover, I hope you'll watch this intro before you see the video, because I do want to say you do have my condolences. Jesse was murdered brutally by a very evil person, and she didn't deserve that. And that's not what this video is about. It's not to mock her death. It's not to mock you either. Y'all didn't deserve that loss. This video is a response to what you said and the actions you've taken. And I hope that me mocking some of those actions and making light of some of those actions will get you to realize that you just chosen the wrong way to go about this. Yep, my condolences for your loss with Jesse. You don't have my condolences with the actions you took afterwards with Lucky Gunner on that one. So, without further ado, alright, so last night on Twitter, I put up a link to this article here, and I said, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And I stand by that statement. Now, here's the article here. I've covered the daughter's face because, you know, she's passed on. She doesn't get to speak. You know, she can't speak. You know, so I'm not going to claim to speak for her. And I have my doubts on whether or not her parents really speak for her themselves. But you know what? I'll give them that, but I'm leaving the daughter out of this. It sounds pretty nefarious, you know, just from the title alone. However, the fact of the matter is even reading the article, you can tell how it's not really all that nefarious. I'm going to go through and I'm going to put out the highlights here. You know, I'm going to put them on a separate image, obviously, so that way you guys can see them and see exactly what I'm talking about. You mean like the same background check he passed to purchase that rifle? I'm talking about all the way about Holmes, the person who shot your daughter. You know, Holmes passed the background check. Shoot, and you're going after Lucky Gunner? Oh, by the way, I bought ammunition from Lucky Gunner. A lot of people I know have bought ammunition from Lucky Gunner. They're a really great company to buy ammunition from. Just thought you should know. So you knew the risk beforehand. You knew that you're probably going to lose, and if you lost, you probably have to pay Lucky Gunner's legal fees. And you still went into this lawsuit and you expect sympathy. What did I say about playing stupid games? Oh, and you sure the Brady campaign didn't put you up to this? It looks to a lot of us that they put you all up to it. Just saying. Let's continue on to the next part. So basically, this is a moot point. You're not suing the National Instant Check System. You're not suing the psychiatrists that didn't put his records in the National Instant Check System. You're not suing the movie theater for making it a gun-free zone. That was the only movie theater with no guns allowed signs on it. Funny how that part's off limits for discussion. Um, you're not suing anybody else but the ammunition manufacturer, and it's a pro bono by a gun control group. So all this looks to me as is that you're just putting a frivolous lawsuit against an ammunition dealer in hopes to, one, put them out of business, and two, dissuade anybody else from selling bulk ammo online. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, so I highly doubt that's the exact words the judge used. In fact, I highly doubt that's exactly what the judge said overall. you know, and given what you guys have said in the article, I see no reason to believe you. In fact, I see every reason not to believe you. But we're going to go ahead and say the judge said that the ammunition dealer gets immunity because of the law. You know what? Good on him. Do we hold fertilizer companies, such as the one that sold Timothy McVeigh his fertilizer, when he mixes it with something else and makes it go boom in a federal building and kills 168 people? No. Do we hold the gas station responsible when a driver comes up who's drunk off his ass, pays at the pump with a credit card, drives off, and then rear-ends somebody or runs over some kid? No. How can we reasonably expect Lucky Gunner to be held to those standards then, if we don't hold any other industry to that standard? I'm sorry, I already argued against stuff you're going to continue to say in this article. But that's the general gist of what you're trying to say with this article, right? Or with this lawsuit, right? But you know what? Let's continue on. Key words here: judicial system and legislation. If you want to change the laws, you got to go through the legislature. What the judicial system is there for is to try criminal and civil cases, okay? In a criminal case, they're going to try whether or not the person broke the law, what penalties they should have, and in some cases, whether or not that law is constitutional, that restriction is constitutional. You know, as in the judicial system can throw that restriction out, but they can't put more restrictions in, right? You understand that concept, right? You know, because right now it doesn't seem like you do. And you're going to go on to make a few more statements in this article that prove that. Okay, first off, you yourselves are not being reasonable. Okay, just going to throw that out there. But here's the thing. Did Lucky Gunner go shoot that theater up? Oh, no, they didn't. So how did they injure your daughter? How did they kill your daughter? I'm really dying to know. You know, did they sit there and look for somebody like James Holmes to sell that ammunition to? No, they didn't. In fact, lots of people buy ammunition in bulk, as I've said before in this video. It's cheap. It's, you don't even have to go to the gun store. You take out a lot of the middleman. You take out a lot of the costs in it. And you can get that stuff cheaper than you can in most brick and mortar gun stores. That's why they have that option of selling ammunition online. Now, if you can show me a way that they can present their ID online, then I would go as far as to say, okay, maybe, you have a point there. But there is no way. You have to have a credit card to purchase that ammunition. You have to have an address to send it to, and you have to have somebody who you're sending it to. Like a name. Right. So, person had a credit card. James Holmes had a credit card. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to buy that ammunition. He had an address to send it to. Obviously, he's able to support himself. And, obviously they had a name. So, that being said, what more steps do you want them to take? This is an honest-to-God question. What steps would you have Lucky Gunner take? And an added note, it's not just the gun industry that gets this protection. I know in Texas, we have a law stating that if you bring a frivolous lawsuit against a doctor for medical malpractice and you lose in court, you have to pay their attorney's fee too. So it's not just the gun industry that gets this protection. Oh, the horror and outrageous fee. You know what? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And I think even if Lucky Gunner's attorney's fees weren't that much. Attorney's fees usually are pretty high, especially for cases like these. One of the many reasons why the gun industry has this protection, and a lot of industries have this protection, is just because of the risk of having phenomenal attorney's fees. But if you can give me Lucky Gunner's exact attorney's fees, that would help your case out a bit. But you haven't provided that. And moreover, Lucky Gunner, having already probably paid their attorney's fees, deciding to use this money, or to donate this money to gun rights, is none of your concern. Because the way it is, you're reimbursing them for the attorney's fees, which they've already paid. And you know what? Maybe with them, they've said, protecting gun rights is something that's going to help us out. I mean, obviously, it was a gun control group that encouraged you to go forward with this lawsuit. Both of you are gun control advocates yourself. You don't see why they would donate this money to gun rights after this? Gee. Maybe because gun rights is protecting them too. Funny. It's funny how people and companies donate to their own interests, ain't it? Oh, and by the way, I didn't hear any gun control groups or any gun control advocates complaining about the massive amounts of money people like Bill Gates, Michael Bloomberg, and so on donate to gun control causes. In fact, Bloomberg donated $50 million, which makes that $203,000 look pale in comparison. Hell, Bill Gates himself donated $1 million to the I-594. So, donating large sums of money goes both ways. And we can kind of see who's been donating more. Oh no, blood money. Yeah, okay. How many times have we in the gun rights community heard that term when some gun control advocate is speaking about money that the NRA got or any other gun rights organization got? How many people died by the money I sent in to Gun Owners of America or the NRA? I have donated money to the NRA. With all the guns I bought, which that money obviously went to the guns industry, and all the ammunition I bought over the years, a lot of money went to the gun industry via me. So, how many people have died at my hands with my rifles? So, how exactly is that blood money? Oh, and reality check on this situation. That $203,000 you're ordered to pay Lucky Gunner isn't blood money. That's you guys filing a frivolous lawsuit and losing that frivolous lawsuit. And thanks to some tort reform, you guys are actually having to pay for filing that frivolous lawsuit. You see, without that loser pays system, really there's only one person or one party having a risk, and that's civil lawsuit. It makes it too easy to abuse. It's just like, and this does happen, people who make fraudulent rape claims, such as Crystal Gail Magnum did to the Duke lacrosse players, and she didn't spend a day in jail. And there are a lot of people like her who make fraudulent rape claims because there's really no risk to them, and the risk solely lies on the person that they've accused. Not really a fair or just system now, is it? So, now there's some accountability there. You guys have just been called to account by the judge. You know what? I agree with you to some degree there. You know, while the Brady campaign may have encouraged you, well, no doubt they encouraged you on this, and they knew the consequences as well. You guys went through with it, so at the end of the day, you guys are the dumbasses. You know, and whether or not the Brady campaign helps you out in paying these fees in any way, shape, or form, which I don't know. I mean, personally, I highly doubt they will, but I could be wrong. Still, at the end of the day, you guys brought the lawsuit forward yourself. You know, and by the way, the Brady campaign is going to instigate wherever they can. You know, the judge is right about that part. You know, and just that, oh, well, the judge is trying to cause a rift between us, further suggests a little bit of a different story than what you originally stated in this article about what the judge said. You know, just saying. You know, but at the end of the day, regardless of if the Brady campaign helps you out any on this or not, you know what? I think you guys are getting what you deserve. You know? Play stupid games. Win stupid prizes. Oh, and an added portion of this. You know what? Some people who get scammed will defend their scammers even more when somebody either insinuates that the scammy has been scammed or flat out tells the scammy they've been scammed. I haven't figured out why that is yet. The only thing I can think of is cognitive dissonance. Really interesting term, guys. Look it up. You know what? Just like common sense, you guys should not be using the term egregious or unconstitutional. Just saying. One, what part of the Constitution prohibits this? You know? What Constitution are you reading? Did you forget the Second Amendment? Did you forget the fact that you guys are trying to backdoor it by suing an ammunition dealer out of business? By further restricting people's right to keep and bear arms, which by extension of that right means the ammunition too. and you guys are in bed with the Brady campaign, who seeks more government control on firearms and less firearms, which are arms, available to the general public, which that was what the Second Amendment was intended for. You can sit there and say a well-regulated militia all you want. The actual wording of the Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And what that means is a well-prepared militia, which in our founders' times was a body of citizens, is necessary to the security of a free state. Why do you think they added free state there? Maybe to provide a little bit of a counterbalance to the government. You see, this militia could come and go at any time they wanted. They didn't have to obey government orders. You know, they could stand with their communities, as opposed to, say, the state government or the federal government. That's what the first part of the Constitution means. I'm sorry. Just because we've changed the association with what regulated means today does not change the intent or the meaning of the Second Amendment there. It doesn't change the first part of the Second Amendment, which is really a preamble. This is why it goes on to say the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And every other Supreme Court ruling, when the term the people has been used in the Constitution, aside from the Second Amendment, and to include the Second Amendment, but I'm going off something else, other parts of the Constitution, to show you how ridiculous you sound. But they said every other time when the right of the people, or the people has been used, the term people has been used, it's referred to individual rights. It's referred to the rights of individual citizens. Not the state, not the collective, but individual citizens. The right of the people to peacefully assemble. So, really, you guys have no business using the term unconstitutional. What? Because the legislators put a law in place to prevent you guys from just abusing civil court, to punish people who sell something you don't like. Come on, man. Come on. Wow. All right. I still got more of this. And you've just got to love the combination of, 1, dishonesty, 2, hypocrisy, and 3, irony of that statement right there. The fact that you put that in the article. Your civil liberties to what? Infringe on my civil liberties? Yeah, I'm sorry. When I do business with Lucky Gunner, I buy their products. This is an A and B conversation between me and Lucky Gunner. So, you two can see your way out of it. And that goes the same with everyone else, who wants to buy ammunition from Lucky Gunner. That's between them and Lucky Gunner. And the fact that you two are trying to sue Lucky Gunner for doing business with their customers the way their customers like, you know, and you're calling it your civil liberty to butt in? I mean, wow. I mean, why don't you just come out and say it? Your civil liberty to go dictate to others how they're going to go about their business, how they're going to buy stuff that they like, how they're going to engage in their hobby, or how they're going to engage in their business. Wow. And you wonder why I used to call gun control advocates gun control Nazis. And I haven't changed my opinion on that. They really are gun control Nazis. It's just, they use the term gun sense now, so I call them gun sense people. Let me get a little bit more in frame here, huh? Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm having to spell this out, and you accuse other people of semantics. I'm not even kidding. The Brady campaign accused the quote NRA on semantics when it comes to the definition of what an assault rifle is, because the NRA, obviously uses the established definition. And the Brady campaign wants to kind of move the goalpost, conflate a little bit on what an assault rifle is, but no, it's the NRA's playing semantics here. And you guys go out with this encouragement and support of the Brady campaign and engage in semantics. I can't even call that semantics. It's straight up dishonesty. I mean, wow. Shoot. God, I know. I just don't. I just don't get how some people can actually be like this and be expected to be taken seriously. Wow. The irony, hypocrisy, they both run deep with you both. I mean, I'd like to say, welcome to reality. Welcome to the reality of the firearm owner, the gun dealer, the ammunition dealer, firearms manufacturers, ammunition manufacturers, and everybody else like that who has to deal with the cost of all this regulation that you demand, all these restrictions that you demand. I mean, that federal excise tax on firearms and ammunition that exceeds most states' sales tax. Well, the states that have sales tax. The proposals to mandate gun insurance. I mean, what do you think that's going to do to us? Let's see. The mandating of micro stamping and smart gun technology, which have been both proven ineffective at stopping criminals, but will make the price of firearms shoot up. Or, even better, all these junk lawsuits, these frivolous lawsuits filed on firearms and ammunitions manufacturers and dealers by people such as you. Maybe you should think about the consequences of your actions. I, for one, well, I'm glad you're getting a little bit of a taste of your own medicine there on that one. Unfortunately, it hasn't taught you much of a lesson given this article you've written. You know what? The gun industry didn't take your daughter's life. Lucky Gunner didn't take your daughter's life. Only one person took your daughter's life, James Holmes. And from everything I've seen, the only people who really enabled James Holmes were the very same people who said no guns in that movie theater. They aided and abetted James Holmes by ruling out the possibility that anybody was going to be there on the scene with a firearm to protect everybody from the person like James Holmes, who, amazingly enough, wasn't deterred by that no gun sign. You know? Kind of funny how that works, you know? Murderers aren't deterred by don't bring guns in here. No. They're just committing murder, you know? You know, but that no gun sign, I mean, if anything's going to stop them, it's that no gun sign, right? You know, we gotta. I don't even know where to start. You know, that no gun sign right there prevents guys like me from going in there. Well, it doesn't prevent guys like me from going in there. But you know what? I've been drinking, obviously, and I know somebody's going to fucking sit there and make a stupid comment. So, no, the firearm does not have rounds in it. Right? I double and triple checked it before I even picked it up, before I even started drinking. There you go. No rounds. So, prevents guys like me from carrying a pistol in there. And by that extension, it prevents guys like me, well, I don't know why I keep on using the word prevent. You know? It's funny. It tells guys like me that there are other movie theaters I'd rather do business with. So, with that being said, if anybody has any sort of culpability in your daughter's death, it's going to be those people that said no guns in that movie theater. Shout it from the rooftops. It doesn't make it so. Yeah, okay. Quite a few things wrong with this statement. First off, while Jesse was shot multiple times, and while those rounds were rifle rounds, and rifle rounds are high velocity rounds, there's no denying that any rifle round is generally going to be high velocity, unless you're talking about like a 22 LR, and even a 22 LR is supersonic. But yeah, any rifle round is high velocity. It's not armor piercing though. Yes, a 5.56 will pierce soft body armor. Just the same as any rifle round will pierce soft body armor. Soft body armor is not intended to stop rifle rounds. Just want to throw that fact out there. And obviously, the parents of Jesse, the writers of this article, have no clue about the Geneva, the Hague Conventions, or the law of land warfare. Because your rounds are not supposed to cause maximum damage. In fact, if you use rounds that are expanding, that are designed to inflict unnecessary and undue pain, you're violating the Geneva Conventions and the law of land warfare. When you talk about the theory behind this, or I should say the spirit behind the Geneva Conventions, the law of armed warfare, or the law of land warfare, and the Hague Conventions, the spirit of it is that you only use as much force as necessary to accomplish the military objective. But then again, Jesse's parents, I should refer to y'all as the writers of this article, you haven't done your homework on that one either. Oh my God. Oh my God. The stupidity hurts. They're not steel jacketed rounds, dumbass. All rounds, all modern rifle rounds, all modern pistol rounds, if they have a jacket, it's copper, not steel. Now you can have steel cored rounds. Steel is a material that they will use for a core, but they don't use steel in the core of an M855. There's a little bit of steel at the tip between the copper jacketing and the lead core. Did you even do your research? I mean, just a simple Google search on what an M855 round is would have saved you from making such a stupid statement. And you think you're qualified to dictate to us what the law should be on purchasing ammunition, and you don't even know what it's made of? You guys are talking, you and the Brady campaign are talking about common sense gun laws, and you don't know a damn thing about the stuff you're talking about? And we're supposed to follow you? And everyone else is supposed to agree with you, and you don't even know what you're talking about? God, first it was the law of armed conflict, or the law of land warfare, excuse me. And now, it's this? Wow. And at least with me, I'll go back and correct myself right up then. You guys write it. You have all the time to think about it before you publish it. You have the time to think about it while you're writing it. You can do a Google search while you're on that word processor writing, and you don't even do that. Wow. The stupidity, it hurts. And what technology do you propose to check somebody's ID on the internet? Obviously, this person had a credit card. This person had an address to mail it to. And this person gave a name. And 4,000 rounds ain't shit. Hell, I've got a hell of a lot more than that in my home. Hell, I've got a buddy, a good friend of mine, has 10,000 rounds of 308. Just 308, 10,000 rounds. And that doesn't include all the other different calibers of rounds he has. A lot of my friends have thousands of rounds in their home. Hell, enough to make 4,000 rounds look pale in comparison. Yeah, just don't seem fair, does it? So when does Susan Gracia Hupp get to sue all the politicians that had put a ban on concealed carry in Texas during the Luby shooting? When does Amanda Collins get to sue all the people responsible for the No Guns on Campus law because she was raped and she didn't have her gun there to protect her because she was following that stupid law? When does Carol Brown's family get to sue the piss out of the New Jersey legislature? I mean, all the politicians that voted in favor of, that permit to purchase system, which cost her life because she didn't have that gun. She was applying for the permit to purchase at the time her ex-boyfriend murdered her. She might still be alive today if she had that gun. Can't say the same thing for her ex that murdered her. But, at least the innocent party would be alive and not the guilty party. So, when do we get to sue the piss out of all you gun control advocates for advocating for and defending laws that prevent us from choosing the tools we use and that we wish to use to protect our lives? And we're not talking about nuclear weapons here. Hell, again, we're just talking about stuff like this. Being able to carry stuff like this to protect ourselves. And you're going to tell me it's unfair that you can't sue Lucky Gunner. Seriously, piss off with that. And that, my friends, is a bald-faced lie. That is a lie and a half. And moreover, there are a lot of industries that don't have to face these same frivolous lawsuits, such as the lawsuit that the writers of this article are bringing up. Yeah, you two. I'm talking about you both. You are the exact reason why this industry needs specific legislation to protect them from frivolous lawsuits. Yeah, that's like totally your opinion. Albeit an opinion not based in reality. But that's totally your opinion. The legislatures have figured out that it's usually the pissed off voters that generally cost them their job. And the fact of the matter is that there is not going to be a level that satisfies gun controllers. There's never going to be a level that's going to satisfy the writers of this article on this. I mean, it's really about banning the sale of ammunition. Let's be real here. Because, you know, James Holmes passed a background check for that rifle. I mean, and shoot, even if we were to have those laws, I can already tell you what's going to happen then. I've seen it happen in the UK. They just don't have enough. We just didn't go far enough. And thankfully, here in the United States, there have been some people that have had the sense and the justice to say, hey, look, this is getting out of hand here. You know, these lawsuits are getting out of hand. You know, yeah, the calling card of the person that wants to move the goalpost and change the rules to where it benefits them, or leveling the playing field. Yeah, okay. So, Woodward calls for a level playing field when the opposition to I-594 was outfunded by the support of I-94 12-1. And by the way, I-594 didn't pass with a 12-1 vote ratio. The margin was much smaller. So what were your calls leveling the playing field then? And the fact of the matter is that whenever I hear somebody talk about changing the rules to level the playing field, it's a good bet that person just wants to change the rules to benefit them. And that's all it is. So you can piss and moan about it all you want. I don't really give a damn. Life ain't fair. Get over it. Oh, by the way, I didn't hear of anything from y'all about how maybe some of these gun control rules, I don't know, like the gun-free zones and the prevention of citizens from being able to arm themselves, thanks to some of your gun control laws, may have contributed to a target-rich environment, which is a greater factor in, well, any form of violence than simply having the freedom to own or purchase a firearm and ammunition. You've actually got the term legal privilege and the term rights confused. You can take away a legal privilege. You can't take away a right. You can infringe upon a right, but you can't take away a right. And what you're suggesting is is that everyone join you in favor of giving you the legal privilege to sue anybody and everybody who happens to sell firearms and ammunition and just happen to sold the ammo to the wrong person. And that's what it boils down to. So, on to the conclusion. So, in conclusion, we see the mentality of the writers of this article. You know, it's the absolute reason why we should have this protection. for the firearms industry. You know, I like being able to buy ammunition online. It's cheap. It's easy. You know, I could buy ammunition online all day long when there's not an ammo crisis. Yeah, as we call it. You know, when they start talking about more gun control and prices of ammunition go up, and I always have ammunition for the range. You know, the fact that they do this, but the fact you have people out there that will do this just goes to show you why we need lawsuit abuse protection laws.